Hello and welcome to the Matthew Alton Art channel again. Well, this is the second in my series inspired by dementia. It's in my sketchbook. You can see it's a small A5 sketchbook, and this time I've moved away from pencil, which I did the first Stolen Memories portrait using, and I've moved to charcoal. So you saw me at the beginning of the video using a piece of sandpaper and rubbing a stick of charcoal on that sandpaper to create some charcoal dust, and then I tipped that charcoal dust onto the paper and moved it around with my finger. I don't know if you can see, but there is tape around the edge of this sketchbook page so that when the portrait is finished, it's not a messy edge, it's a crisp edge when you peel that tape off at the end. A lot of people buy charcoal powder, and I was going to buy some myself. You can get it in sort of like plastic jars, but it's quite expensive, and I've got so many sticks of charcoal that just making it yourself like I did here with a little bit of sandpaper and then tipping that onto the paper is a much more cost-effective way of doing it, really. If you saw the last video that I did on the channel, then I started this series on dementia by watching an episode of Shetland on BBC television, in which the actress Ellie Haddington did a really good job of portraying a character suffering with dementia, and that inspired me, having gone through it so many times with my own family. And I think there'll be a few of these portraits. This is the second one of her, but I might even move on to other actors that have portrayed dementia successfully in their careers. But this is the same episode that I used before, and again I took a still of the show. This one is with the actress looking the other way with the light shining across her face. But I'm hoping that some of the emotion of dementia comes out in this little portrait. The pencil drawing that you saw in the last video, if you watched it, I'll put a link in the description if you haven't watched it. It was easier in a way in that you can get much finer detail with pencils, obviously. They come to a much finer point. I'm using very fine willow charcoal here, but even then, it's quite a blunt instrument to draw the fine detail of eyes. But with a bit of effort, you can certainly do it, and erasing around the lines that you've added on allows you to do that. There's no medium better, I think, than charcoal for sort of being fluid and alterable. I really love it, and I need to practice more at it, really, to get better at it. But you can apply it and then take it all off using a rubber or your finger even, and you can move it around. So it's almost like once you've put a mid-tone on, which I did using the charcoal just to start, you're sort of sculpting the figure, or in this case the portrait, out of the background that you've applied by creating highlights using rubbers of various kinds. I'm using a putty rubber here and the faithful electric eraser you can see me just using there to do some strands of hair and detail, and then applying darker tones using the charcoal. So it's a push and pull until you get the right tonal balance that you're looking for. This again took about 50 odd minutes to create, as it's only A5, so small sketchbook. But again, it turned out to be another portrait that I quite enjoyed, and I think it's quite good at the end of it. Likeness not quite so good possibly as the previous one, a bit less caricatureful than the previous drawing as well. But it's still an okay likeness, and I probably should have just spent more time on it, really. I always think sketches in a sketchbook are quick things that you're just practicing stuff doing, really, and therefore you don't put the time in. But maybe I should have, spent 2 hours doing it, and then it would have been a more polished result and a better likeness probably. But it's a sketchbook sketch, and it's in the sketchbook. It doesn't matter. It's not for sale particularly. Obviously, any sketches that anybody sees that I do, that they can be bought. Just get in touch with me, and I can sell them. But they're not done for that. They're done for practice. And I think as an artist trying to improve, as I said in the last video, sketch, sketch, sketch is how you get better over time. And that is working with me. I'm definitely improving. Well, this is the final drawing. Overall, I'm quite pleased with it. You can see that I've removed the tape and that's left a nice crisp edge around the edges. Of course, with charcoal, it's a very erasable material. So if you are going to do charcoal in a sketchbook, do get some fixative spray to spray it. I've sprayed it with fixative in this case. But even then, it's still over time, as you move the pages and against each other, will fade over time. So just be aware of that. But the fixative certainly helps it not spread onto the facing page when the sketchbook is closed. Well, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Thank you for getting this far if you've got this far. Do give the video a thumbs up as usual if you've enjoyed it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, then do subscribe. I'm trying to grow subscriber numbers over time, and that would really help. I'd be interested to know which one you like best, really. If you've watched the other video, and to say I'll put a link to it in the description. Does the pencil version work better, or does the charcoal version work better? And if so, why? Why is it that you prefer one to the other? I wish people would comment a bit more, really, in terms of it. It would be nice to have a little bit of discussion about the art so we can all learn from each other's experience and that sort of thing in the actual videos. But anyway, I will leave you there, and there'll be another video coming soon. I've been doing some more little tiny ACEO paintings, so I'll probably put a video of one of those on there, one that I created during the Patreon Drink and Draw event. I have a Patreon where a group of artists are learning from each other. I'll put the links to that if you're interested in joining that in the description as well. But I videoed the work that I created during the last social event, where we get together and have a drink and a chat and draw something at the same time. Right, I'll see you soon. Bye.